Live. Welcome to today's morning power call. This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a short one. This is gonna be a sweet one. I was gonna put together a bunch of stuff for you guys and talk about some outreach things, some guidelines for you guys. I'll still produce that. I think I might make that just a mini video training and announce it later today. But I felt like I should today, on Monday, the greatest day of the week, instead talk about how you can maintain your personal power in life because something that I've noticed amongst the students is every so often I'll come across one or two, and quite often, actually, that's a vast understatement. There are a lot of students who, just by the way that they write, I can tell that they have cast away or given away a lot of personal power to forces outside of themselves. And as such, they're having a difficult time forging ahead on the path because they have given up their power. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about what that means, how to reclaim it, and how to avoid falling into the trap of becoming weak voluntarily, because a lot of people in this world have done so. Now, I'm going to use one specific example, and this is probably one of the weakest examples I've seen inside of the campus, as far as this is very mild case of casting off your power to something else. And then I'm going to branch off and talk about this on a few other, I can talk about it and extrapolate how it maps over to other things in life. Real quick, I want to check the chats. We got a whole bunch of people. Yep, they're saying it's live. All right, I just want to make sure the audio is good. So the audio is good. Let's keep going. So the example in question. Yesterday, I was going back and forth with a student in the Ask Professor Andrew channel, and he came in, and his post was, "I can't understand the hero's journey. Explain it to me." And I was like, "Hey, man, that's not a question. Like, I gave you my general advice. Give me some specific questions, and I'll give you a general answer." And I spotted the problem right away. But I was gonna wait and see if he was able to redeem himself by asking a better question inside of the channel. He replied back, "He's like, yeah, dude, I can't understand it. I can't understand the hero's journey." Like, he literally said, "I can't understand it." And it's funny, right? That's such an interesting term. I can't understand it, because it means I cannot understand it. I am incapable of understanding this concept. And I replied back, and I kind of jokingly was like, "Hey, man, like, do you have some sort of medical condition that like keeps you from doing so? Like, did you have a chunk of your brain accidentally lopped off in a freak, I don't know, toddler accident when you were 2, and now you can't physically understand it, or is it just that you haven't figured it out yet?" And it seems like a small thing, the way that someone writes that out and the way they describe that situation, but it actually is very indicative of how much personal power that person has in their mind, in their ability to influence the world. It is revealed through their language. People's thoughts and understanding and the way they view the world, the way they act, is revealed through the words they use. Here in the copywriting campus, we know that, and we understand that probably better than anyone else in the entire world. How someone speaks will tell you everything you need to know about how they view the world, and especially how much power they feel they have over their environment. So we went back and forth, and like eventually he's like, "Yeah, dude, I was going through like a breakup, and I was like really upset and confused and in a weird, not resourceful state when I wrote that." It's like, "I'm good. I figured it out. We're all good." Because I replied back, I'm like, "Hey, like, do you have a condition?" I'm like, all joking aside, like, you need to take back your personal power. I'm gonna talk about it on a power up call. But like, do you have specific questions? You've watched my general advice, and we went through and helped him, made sure he actually understood it. But he replied back and said, "Hey, man, I'm good. I figured it out. Like, I took some personal power and figured out my problem." This is huge, right? So many people do this. The difference between the ones who shake the world and those who don't is the one who shake the world, they think they have the power to do so, right? The Genghis Khans of this world, they were able to do what they did because they believed that they had the power to influence their world in that way. Most people don't. There are two kinds of things in this world. There are things that you act on, and there are things that act. There are things that act and things that are acted upon, right? There are agents of action, and there are things that receive action. There's objects and subjects, right? We know this from basic grammar. But it's actually true, and the way that you speak will reveal whether you believe you are it's something that acts, or if you are something that is simply acted upon by the outside world. The amount of power you believe that you have over influencing your world is going to be revealed in your words. Now, a lot of people cast their power off to other places, right? They give up their power willingly to situations, and you'll see this when they go through like sales calls. If you go through a sales call with somebody, you'll see as they like throw out objections as to why something may or may not work for them. They might first, they'll be like, they'll say things like, "I don't have any time," or I need to talk to my business partner. "I don't think my wife will like this." This isn't a good time for me. You find all these things where they cast it off into outside things and their situation, to their environment, to outside forces. Oh, I would like to do this, but school, this, teacher, that, friend, this, girlfriend, this. They cast their power out into these other things, right? There was one guy I was talking to in the chats, and he's like, I can't focus every day because of my friend, right? My friend keeps me from focusing every day. I was like, how does he do this? Does he put a gun to your head? Does he like hold you down and like stab you in the eye and keep you from focusing on like what you need to do? Like, what's happening? How is he forcing you to do this, right? I had another guy come in and he's like, hey, my family believes this is a waste of time and that's killing my momentum. I was like, how does that kill your momentum? That is something like their belief is outside in the outside world, and your ability to move forward and your momentum is completely controlled by you. How is this outside force doing this? And I just asked the question, and then they realized, oh yeah, well, I guess it really shouldn't affect it. Like I should be able to still make the right decision and still choose the right thing. And it's not so much that you could say, hey, this outside force, because they affect your environment matters and it plays a part in your actions and your ability to move forward. However, if you write it off and say these people, this outside force is literally stopping me from moving forward, that's giving up a lot of power. That's turning yourself in from something that can act in the world and create change into something that is acted upon. You sit back. Those things are stronger than you, and they've defeated you, and you're just trapped in a little box. It's dangerous, right? It's a dangerous belief. And the thing is, that belief exists only in your mind. You have as much personal power in this world as you can claim, right? You can claim as much personal power, and especially, I mean, you have to build it over time. You can't just say, I'm Genghis Khan, I'm going to conquer the world, and just be Genghis Khan from day one. He was not Genghis Khan from day one. He was a little guy named Temujin. He grew up, he ran around with his dad for a little bit. His dad was murdered, and then he was hunted. He was a vagabond. They chased him down and tried to kill him from the time he was about 13, 14 until he was about 18. He was hunted like mercilessly. He was able to reconquer a tribe. He conquered a tribe, and he was able to use that tribe to conquer all of Mongolia, and that took a long time. He was like 30, 32 by the time that he finished that, which was an impossible task. They thought that you could never unite all these warring Mongol tribes in Mongolia. There's no way. But he believed he could. He built that up. He went from there, then he conquered China because he believed that he could, which is absurd. He believed that a bunch of horsemen could conquer perhaps the greatest empire at the time he conquered it, because he believed he could. And then he had such an unshaken belief that he was able to influence the world and to outwit and outthink and outfight anyone in the world, that he conquered the entire known world by the time he died. And then his sons continued to conquer for him, right? And it was because of what he believed, and it escalated, right? It was an ever increasing amount of personal power that he took on himself. And the more power he took on, the more he was able to influence the world around him. The more he influenced the world around him, the greater his belief in his own power became. And it was cyclical, and his sphere of influence expanded, right? So as you guys are looking at the world, as you guys are thinking, I want you to pay really close attention to when you use words of, let's say, words of power, words of ability. Things like I can versus I can't. This is something I work with my 4-year-old son on, right? If you ask him, do bass boys say can or can't? He says, bass boys don't say can't, we say can. So, because he's a kid, and a little toddler, when he's frustrated, picture fit, and be like, I can't put my shoes on, right? He'll say something like that, because that's what little kids do when they're frustrated. They throw the power away so they can be a baby again. That's what little kids do. And we've been work with him on it. And he's really good at it. He's getting really, really good at noticing anytime if anybody in the world, if I ever say I can't at all, like I can't go there at this time or something like that, he'll say, hey, Dad, bass boys don't say can't, we say can. He'll like my 4-year-old is paying attention, and he's reshifting his mind. And I want you guys to all do the same thing. I want you guys to start paying attention to how you speak and how you think. I want you to think about places, people, things, forces that you have cast your outside power to, right? You've given these people power over your life to where you feel like they are actually making the decisions for you. And you need to regain that personal power and accept some responsibility for your life. And you take extreme ownership and extreme responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Now, what I'm not saying here is that you should ignore other people that are important to you, right? I'm not saying that. You should definitely, you should definitely take care of your family. You should build a good relationship with your parents, with your siblings, with your brothers and sisters, with your husband, your wife, whoever you're married to, or whatever, your girlfriend. You need to keep a good relationship with these people, assuming that they're not terribly, terribly trying to hurt you. You should keep a good relationship with them, and you have responsibility and duty to do so. However, you need to take control and take back the power over the decisions you make in your life. It's only when you believe that you have absolute control over the decisions you make in your life that you can always make the good ones. That is fundamental. You have to say, I You have to believe with everything that you have control over every single decision that you make, that there might be outside forces influencing it, but you choose to act on the world. And it's not the other way around. My friends, we'll talk about more copywriting tactics. We'll talk about more outreach stuff. We'll talk about more stuff about improving your sales game. And we're going to continue to talk about that throughout the campus. But I wanted to pause today because I've noticed this trend popping up inside of the campus. I've noticed more and more students doing this. And I want to address it. I want to help you guys understand. And this is a huge mindset shift for me. When I made this mindset shift, this was a big one for me. This is what helped me actually have enough power over my life to push forward, to learn, to solve and overcome difficult problems. If you go through your life casting off your power at outside forces, blaming your poor decisions on other people or other things, it's like you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back or two hands tied behind your back. When you take extreme ownership for what you do, for your wins, for your losses, for your for every decision that you've ever made in your entire life, when you take complete and utter responsibility for that, you gain your power back and you can make better decisions and you can control more things in your life. And that's the path, right? We're all here to gain more personal power, more personal freedom so we can live a better lives and we can make the lives of those we care about better. That's why we're here. And it can only be done when you take and claim and build as much personal power as you can. And in this world, you can't give it away for free. You got to take everything you have right now. You can't give away your power for free. You got to reclaim it. You got to make it your own. You got to take responsibility so that you can become not something that is acted upon, but something that acts in the world. My friends, it's been a good call. I'll talk with you guys tomorrow again on another morning power up call. We were going to be doing a copy review call on Thursday. I need to figure out exactly. We may do it tomorrow. I'm going to do a big copy review call where we break down a great piece of copy, like an established sales letter or something like that. Either tomorrow or Friday, I'll be announcing the times. But it's been a good call with you guys, and I will talk with you guys again tomorrow. Keep this in mind. Use this. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to this thinking in yourself. Learn how to make better decisions, and you'll get better results. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.